3 ways government prevents solutions to homelessness.
Yes, freeze!
According to the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development's annual homeless assessment report, as of 2017, there are around 554,000 homeless people in the United States on a given night, or roughly 0.17% of the population. Some people look at this fact and rail against private property owners as being greedy and selfish, as if they are the cause of this homelessness. In reality, homelessness is, by and large, a product of government action. And I'm going to share with you 3 key facts that make it abundantly clear that government is not only the problem, but also is preventing the solutions. First, the federal government holds some 640 million acres of land to the exclusion of others. This land is kept as preserves and managed under agency bodies like the Bureau of Land Management and the National Park Service. That the government holds this much land and prevents homesteading on it inherently keeps people from being able to have a new location on which to establish a home. While some may think that this land should be kept only for wildlife, one cannot rationalize keeping human beings in need from having a home on undeveloped, unowned lands. If each homeless person took up a generous single acre to live on, there would still be over 639.4 million acres of land for wildlife and natural habitat, which means that the government, in preventing homesteading on these lands, is creating artificial scarcity. The reality is that land access is not an issue. Secondly, homelessness is also fostered by property taxes. As people cannot truly own their home outright thanks to property taxes, homeless people just trying to get on their feet will be inherently oppressed by local taxing bodies who will seize their home for lack of funds, even if it was already paid off. For example, Eileen Battisti, an elderly widow, accidentally underpaid her taxes by $6.30. Unaware, this debt ballooned with interest and penalties to a few $100s, and the local county forced a sale on her home, evicting her in the process. Eileen's story matches the experience of many others who fell behind on tax bills and lost their home in foreclosure. So long as the state can keep charging people taxes to keep their home, everyone at large is effectively a neo-feudal serf, where people are forced to work for the government lest the government takes their home. Lastly, it should be noted that Americans are some of the most generous people in the world. In 2018 alone, charitable giving topped over $410 billion. This amount is more than the gross domestic product in dozens of countries, such as Denmark, Norway, and Greece. Among those providing charity are people trying to give the homeless a new home to live in. For example, offering the homeless specialized tiny homes. Elvis Summers, a man who was himself once homeless, built tiny homes for people in Los Angeles so they could have a stable shelter within encampments. The government didn't like this and so seized these homes from the homeless, stealing their personal items along with the home. This example is one, among many, of government officials stopping people from voluntarily trying to help others have a stable life. Even giving homeless people food or temporary shelter has been met with state threats of violence. From the arrest of 90-year-old Arnold Abbott for feeding the homeless in a South Florida park, to a church in Maryland being threatened with a $12,000 per day fine for housing homeless people in cold weather. With these facts in mind, please consider how the state is preventing people from attaining a home and how government bureaucrats persecute those trying to help homeless people in need. When you see the bigger picture, it is apparent that those in state power don't want others to realize that the public at large really doesn't need its awful services to do good for others.
Thank you for watching and for supporting my work, and a special thank you to my fiduciaries, the Asian capitalists Zach Glakowski and Crawford K. McDonald of ECM Real Estate Group. To join my monthly live hangouts and to help choose the next video I produce, join my Patreon page at the Philosopher's Pho or Boba Tea level. See you soon!
Yes, freeze!